Okay, we'll get started. Congratulations, Coach. We'll start with an opening comment from you, and then we'll open it up for questions for the student athletes first. Coach?
Yeah, I mean, obviously very excited about this game, almost scoring 100 points out here tonight. We shot the ball well from all areas, 2, 3, free throw line. I think we had 23 assists on 30, or 25 assists on 33 baskets. I love that style. Really sharing the ball really well. Only have 11 turnovers today, so that was great to see. So I thought it was a really good game, especially with, a couple weeks off. You're always worried about that rust, and I don't think we really showed any signs of that today. But I really want to, thank the crowd that came out. I mean, our fans were amazing. Our fans, and they braved parking problems today. They braved rain, and they still got here. And we are so appreciative of them. And let's just come again on Sunday. It's going to be easier. No hospital traffic and no rain, let's hope.
Okay, thank you, Coach. If you have a question for one of the student athletes, please raise your hand. We'll start on the front left with Scott.
This is for both Monica and Caitlin. And in the second quarter, kind of late on, there were a lot of passes to Monica, and it really seemed to make the game separate. It was like a 7-point game. Then you scored like 7 straight points. How important was that to the game and in getting Monica involved, I guess, starting with Caitlin?
Yeah, I think it was huge. I don't think she had taken really one shot before that. I'm not totally sure, but I know going into halftime she was 4 for 4, and she's the best field goal percentage shooter in the country, so we want to get her the ball as much as we can, and that's what we did, and that did create separation. I think she's the best big in the country, hands down, and I'm always looking for her, and I think she knows that. She always has her eyes up looking, and we really needed to get her involved there, and that's why I knew that, and I was just looking for her, especially there in the end of the second quarter.
Yeah, I think they came out from the jump. They were already doubling before they could even get the ball inside. So I think as the game goes on, it's hard to come double and leave my teammates open like that. They're all deadly, all 4 of them. So once that kind of settled down and we were hitting from the outside, it made it a lot easier to get it inside in that second quarter. And I think that was just getting everybody involved, including me, was huge.
Front right.
Michelle Vopel, ESPN.com. Caitlin and Monica, you both answer this. I think you guys outscored them in transition, I think like 34-2. It just seemed like everything was working well offensively, and Coach was just talking about how she was a little worried, with some time off. Can you guys both talk about how things were clicking, 12 three-pointers, and you had that kind of transition game?
Yeah, I think transition is always our best offense, so we want to get to that no matter what. Obviously, defending in transition is an area that we can still improve and get better at, so it's great to hear that we only gave up 2 points in transition. But, yeah, I think that's our best offense. I thought we got a lot of great contributions off the bench. Obviously, Tommy shot the ball well. Addie came in, so that always helps as well. But, yeah, overall, our transition offense, when we're doing it the way we should and when we get stops on the defensive end, that just leads to our transition offense. So, hands down our best offense, and that's what we like to get to the most.
Jeff?
Yeah, Jeff Linder, Cedar Rapids Gazette. How key was it to, come out and do what a 2 seed should do and just, kind of take the drama out of the game early?
We'll start.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I think it was huge. Just kind of coming off from this break, getting our legs under us again, just kind of getting a feel for it. It really wasn't that long of a break, but it kind of feels like it when you go from playing games every 2 to 3 days, all of a sudden having that. So I think that was huge, and I think it just built confidence for everybody, whether they were a bench player or a starting 5 member. Everybody got shots up today and was hot, so it was just really good for confidence building in the future.
Scott?
Yeah, this is for Monica. You've played with players who've tipped the court with Megan and then now with Caitlin. First of all, what did you take away from working with Megan, all those practices early in your career? And second of all, completely different positions, different types of players, but how do they how do you notice them taking control of the game the way they have and do currently?
Yeah, I think with Megan, the biggest thing overall was just her work ethic. She never did anything halfway. She did everything 100%. Whether it was coming in the offseason to shoot, during the season, everything she gave it her all, and that was just really inspiring to see as a freshman, and just kind of realizing that this is what it takes to be really good in this conference, this highly competitive conference. And she was just an amazing person. She built everybody up too. So That was probably one of the largest things I got from her. And then, yeah, obviously her and Caitlin are very, very different, but they both are amazing at what they do, and their greatness really brings people around them up. I remember playing with Megan. She made everybody on the court better, even being a 5, and Caitlin just even amplifies that even more because she has the ball in her hands so often. So playing with that level, that caliber of teammate just makes everybody better. No matter who you are, no matter what position you play, you gain a lot from playing with somebody like that.
Jeff?
Just to follow up from yesterday's fun little conversation, how did you guys sleep last night?
I slept really well, honestly. I don't know if it was it was kind of dark and rainy outside, so I don't know. I slept good. I was just excited to play and come out here and play in front of these fans. Obviously incredible, and I mean, I know it's only going to be even better on Sunday when we face Creighton, and we're just super, super fortunate to have that kind of support from this community. It's not like that everywhere else, and I get the chills every single time I run out of the tunnel and they roar. It's super cool.
Yeah, I stared at the ceiling for a while. I'm going to be honest. Eventually I fell asleep, but I think having a sold out crowd, like Caitlin was saying, there's nothing like it. And having experienced it once before, you have a taste of it and you just want it every time. So I hope Hawk fans can come out on Sunday. But again, like Coach Blair was saying, thank you so much for everybody who showed up today. It was so awesome.
Dargan?
Caitlin, as loud as it got today, you had 15,000 people pretty quiet there when you were limping around for a quick second. Obviously, whatever happened there wasn't serious, but just what kind of happened on that exchange?
Yeah, I think I was probably just a little out of control myself and then kind of took a tumble. And I just hit my knee wrong on the floor. But I mean, Coach Witter always wants me to stay on my feet more. But I think I've done better throughout the years gone on. But no, I'm all good. It's part of basketball. It's just how it goes.
Front, middle? No?
Yeah, for Caitlin, I guess, how well are you and Audrey going to get along the next couple of days, and how much are you looking forward to this matchup with a team that you watched a lot growing up?
Yeah, no, I mean, my cousin and then obviously Audrey playing at Creighton, I really idolized her growing up. She played at Dowling and then went on to play at Creighton, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I remember I went to Oregon State to watch Creighton play. They ended up going to the round of 32, and I was just her biggest fan growing up. I loved basketball, but I think she'll be rooting for me a little more. I hope so. I mean, that we're family. But no, I think more than anything, she just wants the best for me. And, she was here today, and I'm so glad I could have my support. I had a lot of family here today, and, that's what it's about. And our family just loves being around the game of basketball. It's really what we've done our whole lives. So it was awesome.
We have time for 2 more questions for the student athletes. Front left.
Thank you. Zachary Draves, SB Nation Swish Appeal. Monica, you mentioned playing in this kind of environment before. Does it add to any pressure, or does it lessen the pressure given that it's the tournament and you're playing in front of your home crowd?
No, I mean, I think it makes it so much easier knowing you have that amount of people cheering for you and kind of motivating you along. If things kind of get a little rocky, that they'll be there to kind of pull you back into it. So I think we're just so lucky. I really think it just is, we come out of the gate 15 yards ahead of the other team, metaphorically. But it's just so much fun, and it's an experience I'll never forget.
Back left.
Hi, Kaylin Thompson, WHO 13 News in Des Moines. A lot of young girls in the stands today. What's it like playing in front of them and being role models? I think all 3 could probably answer.
We'll start with Monica.
Yeah, I mean, it's just super inspiring. I remember being that age and just kind of looking up to the young women playing and just thinking how cool it was. And then all of a sudden you grow up and you're in those positions. So I think it's just so awesome to see them, to hear their stories. They'll all come up and be like, oh, I have a tournament tomorrow, like at Extreme. I wear your number. Like, it's so much fun, and it's so cool to see. And Iowa just really cares about the sport of basketball, but they really love girls basketball. So it's just super cool to see.
Yeah, I think it's one of the coolest things that you get to do, but I feel like I was just that little girl. Like, I grew up around the game. I was those little girls. I was always begging my dad to take me to basketball games, college basketball games, no matter what it was, really. I always wanted to be around the game, so I know both of us and our entire team will always make time for them, and we love their support. We're always around them, summer camp to season. yeah, it's super cool. And any way we can inspire them and love the game and really grow the game, I think, our team does a really great job of that. But, I think that was the most kids we've really had all season today. The tunnel was just packed with kids, and, I try to make time to high five every single one of them. And, that's really what it's all about, inspiring the next generation. And I think our team does a tremendous job of that.
Okay, Caitlin, Monica, thank you for your insights. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Questions for Coach Bluter? Chloe on the left.
Chloe Peterson, the Daily Iowan. You had a lot of contribution off the bench today. How do you think that's going to help your depth going forward?
Yeah, I love that we had that contribution off the bench. That was Caitlin tripping again. So, the contribution off the bench is really important when you're playing, 2 games basically within 48 hours. So, when you can go to your bench, first of all, everybody feels really good about themselves. But second of all, it really is important to give your starting 5 some rest, some leg rest, and so they can come back on Sunday even harder.
Front left.
This matchup with Creighton is interesting because you guys do play each other every year in a game no one gets to watch, but you've also met recently in an NCAA tournament game. What comes to mind when you think about this matchup and what it's going to be like on Sunday?
Yeah, my thought is, why the heck do we schedule them every year on our home court and let them come in here and have that game? So that's kind of what my mind is going through right now. I know they feel very confident coming out here because they play here every single year in that close scrimmage. They won today over against a good Colorado team. So, yeah, I mean, Creighton is and I've known, like, Jim and Connie for, 30 years. I mean, Connie and I go back to Loris and St. Ambrose against each other. So we don't, either one of us have too many secrets, really. And I know they're going to be well prepared. I know that they're going to play their hearts out. And so it's going to be a great women's basketball game with a lot on the line.
Scott Docterman, The Athletic. Lisa, kind of getting back to the end of the second quarter there and getting the ball to Monica, and I think 3 straight possessions she scored. Or how important was it to the game's flow that she was involved, and then also that she produced the way she did? Because it was, I think, a 7-point game at that point.
I'm just kind of disappointed she didn't get more shots. I mean, she's 6 for 6. She's perfect from the field. She's perfect from the free throw line, 6 for 6. Why are we not giving her more shots? That's what I want to know. So, I mean, she can take over a game inside. She's so talented. But, yeah, we got to give her the ball a little bit more, too, to let her go to work.
Jeff Beecham, Iowa's News Now. Oh, back here.
Oh,
Sorry.
back right.
Obviously, it looked like defensively things were working out early on. I mean, you gave up some shots in the zone, but when she kind of got into those passing lanes, it seemed like, Caitlin herself had 3 steals and ended up scoring on the other end, 10 steals total as a team. What do you like about the defensive performance tonight?
I thought that our zone was really good. It's great because at the beginning of the year, our zone wasn't very good. It was something we could not really use. And now in this Big Ten tournament and here, we've been able to use our zone. And to me, that protects your legs a little bit as well. You don't have to play all those screens. So I was happy with that. Mary Crompton got an early start for us, for them, excuse me. She had 8 points. But then after the first minute of the second quarter, she never scored. So I really credit my team for identifying, somebody that was really hurting us and really doing a good job of keeping the ball out of her hands. Again, we changed up some defenses in the second half, and I thought that was good too.
Front left, Zachary.
Coach Bluter, you had mentioned the importance of giving the starters as much rest as possible. Obviously today with Tommy scoring 13 points and Addison coming out and having some big moments, including that buzzer beater toward the end of the quarter. I'm just wondering if you could emphasize how important your bench is in critical moments like this.
Tommy is a senior, and I think she's playing some of her best basketball of her career right now, which is good, and it's also sad, right? But I have so much confidence in her shooting the ball, and she gives us a good defensive spark as well. So I feel like she just has added so much to our bench play. Addie has just gotten better all year. I mean, from freshman, she's learning to be a little more aggressive. We have to keep working on that, but I'm really happy with the way that she's developing, and I think, she alters some shots defensively when, she's the tallest woman on our team, and when they're going in against the zone and having to shoot over her, you can see them altering their shots, and that's a good thing for us.
Scott on the left.
Obviously it's not easy for somebody to replace somebody like Megan, but for Monica the last few years to lead the country and field goal percentage and to do what she's done, I mean, what kind of maybe conversations did you and Jan have with her early in her career? Because trying to replace somebody like that can be really difficult if you're not mentally able to accept it.
Yep, she did do a great job of being a sponge for, and learning from Megan her freshman year. But it wasn't pretty her freshman year, I will tell you that. I mean, she worked hard on changing her entire shot form between her freshman and sophomore year. When you're 18 years old, that is really hard to do. And she did it. And it wasn't pretty when we went to Spain and we played overseas, and we were like, oh my goodness. And then all of a sudden a light bulb went on in that fall. And I think was like third in the country in field goal percentage shooting her third year. I think she was two made baskets away from being number one in the country her sophomore year. Amazing. Could we have ever predicted that? Absolutely not. I mean, you can't predict something like that. And so since then, it's just, she just keeps working. And now she wants to pay back to Addie what she learned from Megan. And so she's being a great example as well every day in practice.
We have time for one or two more. On the right, Kyle.
Kyle Huzman, Hawkeye Report. It looked like Gabby Marshall had a really good game, I thought, today. The last few games before that, she hadn't been necessarily getting up a lot of shots, not necessarily making three-pointers. How big is it to get her back going from behind the arc?
Yeah, I mean, the more weapons you have, the harder you're to defend. I mean, everybody knows about Caitlin and Monica. So, man, when those other guys are contributing like that, when McKenna, Tommy, Kate hit a three tonight, Gabby, I mean, it just, okay, where are you going to put your focus? It just makes us an offensive juggernaut, and we love it. And so I love it when those guys are hitting their threes. I have so much faith in all of them. They're all really good three-point shooters. I know some games it doesn't seem like it, but we see them in practice every day. I know what I have. I've got a really good shooting team.
Okay, thank you, Coach. Congratulations.
And congratulations to this guy. First daughter, second born just a couple days ago. So, Matt, way to go, man.
Thank you. Okay, Coach, if you'd start with an opening comment, and then we'll throw it out to questions for the student athletes.
Yeah, I would just like to congratulate Iowa. Outstanding team. I thought they played exceptionally well today. We knew we had a tall task on hand, and they had a few more weapons than we did. But you got to give them credit. Coach Bluter does an unbelievable job. And it's going to be fun to see how far they can advance. But with that being said, I have 14 young women in that locker room who I tell them this all the time. I would choose them over and over and over. what that group was able to do this year, and I don't know how many people followed our team closely. We started out really poorly, and for a lot of different reasons. We had some injuries, had some new players trying to figure out their roles. At one point, we were 4-7, and I think a lot of people wrote us off. And their belief in what our staff and in what our program is built on, you know, just they kept showing up every single day. And I told them one game does not define them. What defines this group and what their legacy is, they are Missouri Valley champions. They got Illinois State back on the map, back where it should be. We were NCAA participants, and that's, you know, as a coach, what more could you ask for? 14 young women giving everything they have to you and your program. In my books, we won.
Thank you, Coach. If you have a question for Juju or Mary, please raise your hand and we'll take questions for the student athletes first. Susan, front right.
Susan Harmon, Hawk Fanatic. Mary, you got off to a great start. Did Iowa then adjust their defense? Did they try to make it harder for you to just get the ball?
Yeah, they started the game in the man defense, and I think they were kind of struggling with our ball screen offense, and I got some good looks off of that. So then they shifted to the zone, and we're just kind of keying in specifically on me and Juju. And then we were still getting some good looks, so then they switched to the triangle and two. I think that was for the majority of the second half. And just, you know, we're face guarding us as close as can be, denying catches, made it a little bit more difficult, and challenged other people on our team to make some shots.
Front right.
Question for both Juju and Mary. What kind of preparations or adjustments did you make before the game in preparation for this kind of environment, a sellout crowd and all the noise, to be able to communicate on the floor and that sort of thing? And how do you think you handled that today?
We'll start with Mary.
Yeah, so our coaches did everything they could to prepare us for it. The practices leading up to this game, we were blaring crowd noise in our arena. We came up with hand signals for our different zone sets. And, you know, we were just told to look at the bench after every time we got the offensive possession because there was going to be a play call, and we all needed to be on the same page.
Juju?
Same as Mary. They did everything they could, and I feel like we executed the game plan, and it just didn't come out how we wanted it.
To the players, Susan Harmon, Hawk Fanatic. How did Iowa sort of take the lead and then sort of just go with it? What were they doing to enable their offense to get going?
Juju, you want to take that one?
Honestly, they didn't do anything fantastic. We beat ourselves with the turnovers before half, and they just executed those, and they made plays out of our turnovers, and it was just our offense that got them the lead.
Front right.
Mary, you're returning to your hometown. You started off really strong. What was that atmosphere like, being able to come back here and start off like that?
Yeah, it was a great experience. I was really excited to play in front of a lot of my family and friends. But yeah, I mean, just being in the NCAA tournament in general was really exciting for me and our whole team. So I think as a team, we started out really strong that first quarter, and that's really what means the most.
Front left.
Randy Reinhardt, Bloomington Panagraph. Juju, you said yesterday you wanted to leave it all out on the court. Do you feel you did that and the team did that as well?
I mean, yeah. It's going into the last huddle, I told them, let's play as hard as we can for these last 10 minutes, no matter what the score is. And I feel like we did that as a team. Even when it was 10 seconds on the clock, our team never gave up. You see, we got offensive rebounds, but we just left it all out there. And, you know, there's many more games for this team to go on, and this was my last game, but I just hope and pray for the best for the program.
Any other questions up front?
Juju, you guys got off to that strong start like I was talking about. Did you guys have any nerves coming into this game, or are you guys just excited to be here?
I mean, it is a basketball game, so everyone's going to be nervous going into the game. This was everyone's biggest game of the year, and me personally, I didn't have any nerves. I belong on that type of stage, and I feel like we still played as hard as we can.
Okay, Juju, Mary, congratulations on a terrific season. You are excused.
Thank you.
Questions for Coach? Raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you. Front right.
Coach, like I was talking about, you guys got off to that hot start. What worked for you guys early that allowed you guys to get off to that 7-2 start?
You know, I thought this is how the game, well, I shouldn't say that. I didn't think quite how it was going to go, but I thought they were going to come out and play us man-to-man, and our staff and our team were pretty confident. I think we run some good stuff that they were going to have to go zone fairly quickly, and that's what happened. And then I still thought we got great looks. What killed us, I was really upset at halftime because I'm very competitive, and we didn't come in here. I told the team, this isn't a consolation gift. Like, we belong here. We prepared all week to win. We believed we were going to win this game. So at halftime, I'm sure people are probably like, oh, wow, they're only down 13. That's great. No, we were upset because we beat ourselves in that first half. We had way too many turnovers. I thought we did an outstanding job guarding them in the half court. They got run-out layups off of our turnovers, and you can't combat that. There's no defense for that. And then in the second half, they went triangle and two, and I told these two waiting out there, I said, what a compliment to those two. What a compliment to our team that, they had they give a junk defense, and you know what? We had great shots. They just didn't go in. And, the ball, sometimes that's the game of basketball, but I like our players who shot the ball. It was just a really off night, but I got to give our kids credit. They did exactly what we asked. And I'm sure some people looked and were like, wow, why are they letting some of these players have open looks? Well, how in the heck else are we going to guard Caitlin Clark and, Monica? They're so good. But we knew coming in we were going to have to get a little luck. They were going to have to miss some shots, and, I'm just couldn't be more proud of what they accomplished.
Back left.
Joey Dwyer, WZND coach. For the majority of the game, you had Kate Bowman guarding Caitlin Clark, held her to 20 points from the field, and when Kate Bowman checked out of the game for the final time, you looked very pleased with her performance. Can you talk a little bit about her defensive performance today? Yeah, I'm really excited to go back because in the course of the game, you get kind of caught up in what's going on. I can't wait to watch the film and see how many times Caitlin scored on Kate. She got some run-out layups, and she's phenomenal. I said this yesterday. She is so great for the game of women's basketball. She is, man, what a competitor, and we have nothing but respect. But that's what I love about Kate Bowman. She's still mad that she wasn't. Let's think about this for those that aren't familiar with the Valley. Kate Bowman was not a member of the all-defensive team in our league, which is mind-blowing. I think she takes it to heart, and she loved the challenge, and she has so much respect for Caitlin. She just wanted to see, and this is what this was about. We had a chance to go to toe-to-toe with one of the top, 5 or 6 teams in the country, and I love the way our kids compete, and I think Juju said it best. I think you saw what our team is made of, that second to last offensive possession. I think we get 3 offensive. Our kids just don't quit, and I couldn't be more proud.
Back left.
Leo Stouderher, WZNE Radio. Coach, you talked about how proud you were of this team. How can you take this experience to continue building off what you've already started for Illinois State basketball?
Yeah, last year I joked. I asked the players I asked Mary Crompton. I said, how does the NCAA tournament compare to the WNIT? And this is nothing against it. She's like, to the younger players, she's like, not even close. But I think last year's WNIT was a springboard, and now this was the next step. But if I know the players in that locker room, the ones coming back, this right here, this stat sheet is going to be motivation enough. Because we got a taste, but, it was Iowa's defense that really affected it. I'm not taking anything away from that, but I don't think some of our players. I don't think Maya Wong thinks that Iowa saw the real Maya Wong, and I know this is just going to fuel her fire. And as a coach, you know, what more could you ask for? But, you know, my goal is to have Illinois State in the NCAA tournament every year. That's what I was hired to do. That's what we've worked. Our staff has worked tirelessly over the last 5 years. Got the best staff in America. They believe in me, and it feeds down. Our players believe in all of us. And I think when you have a belief and a passion and you love what you do and you love what the people you do it with, special things can happen. And that's what happened to our program this year.
Okay, we'll take one final question up front.
Coach, Juju Redmond, 25 points. What a way for her to go out in her career. What are your just thoughts on her performance and just as her as a whole?
You know, Juju hit the nail on the head. Juju believes she belongs on the stage, and she does. So I just, you know, what Juju has done in 3 years at Illinois State is spectacular. I mean, she has just elevated our brand, our profile, and she's the most selfless kid. But if you know Juju, it's not about basketball. It's the type of human being she is. I've said this many times, she has made me a better coach because of the human being she is. And I want to be a better human being. I want to be a better coach because the love I have for that young woman. And she's going to be wildly successful in anything she does. I know she has aspirations to play professionally, but the moment that career is, she hangs them up, I'll be the first call because I want to hire her on my staff because she's a winner. And I love her, and I will be forever indebted to her for what she's brought to my life.
Okay. Thank you, Coach. Congratulations on
Thank
an
you.
outstanding year.
Thank you guys for all your support. Appreciate it.